is up, guys, and welcome to my channel. My name's Carly and I like to talk about personal finance in fun and exciting ways to make and invest your money. Today I'm going to be talking about an extreme issue that our entire country is facing, and that is credit card debt. Essentially, there's two different kinds of debt. There's installment debt and there's revolving debt. Installment debt is something that you're going to want to pay off last, and revolving debt is going to be what you would want to pay off first. You want to get rid of that revolving debt before absolutely anything, and something that's going to be a revolving debt is going to be a credit card. An installment debt is going to be debt that has a term, and with a term is going to come typically a low interest rate. So this is going to be what you're going to pay off last. For example, like a fixed mortgage rate loan. Now your revolving debt is exactly what it sounds like. It's revolving. Once you pay it off, you typically just stack it back up. So that means you're making someone else extremely rich off of the compound interest they are making off of you, which means you are losing money, and also you're having lost opportunity costs because that's money that you could be taking and investing elsewhere. Revolving debt comes without a plan. It's revolving. It's continuously going. The second that you paid off, typically you just build it right back up. These are going to have extremely tremendous, ridiculous, freaking interest rates. The average amount of credit card debt in America right now is $5,000. Which is insane. Average monthly payment that people are making on this is only $100. Now you may be thinking,
it's just $100. No big deal. That'll pay it off eventually, right?
wrong, because get this. Let's say you have $5,000 of credit debt, the average American amount of credit card debt. You are paying $100 every single month. Let's not forget that this revolving credit has an extremely high interest amount. Average amount of interest could be anywhere from 17% all the way up to even 30%. Absolutely ridiculous amount of interest. So let's say that you have 21% interest rate on your account. That's considered an APR, annual percentage rate. Annual meaning the year. So that means you have to break that up for the entire year. So you take 21 divided by 12. That's going to be 1.75. You move the decimals a couple times to get a percentage, and you've got 0.0175%. 0.0175% of 5,000. Go ahead and type that in your calculator and you're gonna get $87.50. That's the amount of interest that they're charging you per month. That means that out of that $100, you're simply throwing away $87.50 every single month. You're only paying $12.50 out of that $100 that you're putting on there. I say this in so many of my videos, but the average American pay is only $23.99. So that $100 that you're just basically throwing in the trash is near 4 hours of your month that you're just wasting, absolutely wasting. You go to your job and you work and you just waste that time. And that's assuming that you make as much as $23.99. This revolving debt, you want to get rid of it as fast as you possibly can. So now you may be wondering, okay, well, I've already stacked up the debt. What do I do now? You need to figure out how you're going to take care of it. First rule, you need to know how much money that you can pay every single month in order to get this done. So you need to figure out your interest rate. You need to see how much money are they taking from you based on how much you already owe, which if it doesn't show on whatever paper you have, you can always call the 1-800 number on the back of your credit card and ask them what your interest rate is, and they will tell you. From that interest rate and the amount that you owe, how much they're taking from you every single month. So whatever this amount is, you need to pay more than that every single month to even touch the debt that you've already accumulated. This you can do in several different ways, which brings me to number 2. You can use the debt equality method, the debt avalanche method, or the debt snowball method. The debt equality method is saying that you're going to pay the same amount to each one of your debts. This one is not my favorite method because your different debts could have different interest rates, and whatever interest rate is the highest is what you want to get rid of first because that is going to be the peskiest. The second method is the debt avalanche method, meaning that you are paying the largest amount first and trickling down and paying the smallest amount debt last. And the third method is the snowball debt method, meaning that you're paying the smallest amounts of debt first and the largest amount last, which is recommended by Dave Ramsey. The method that I used was the debt snowball method, which is the method that I would probably recommend the most, because the smallest debts that accumulate in different spots tend to be the peskiest little ones that will haunt you and will build up to be bigger ones, and they'll snowball themselves to be bigger. The largest amount of debt clearly is going to hang over your head and it's going to drive you crazy, which is why I chose to get rid of all the smaller things first to start working at that big thing, so there's nothing else floating around my head stressing me out, and I'm solely focused on getting that large snowman of debt taken care of without having to worry about all the random little snowballs sitting around it. I took out the little guys first and then aggressively approaching 100% to the large amount of debt. This is the one that I found to be the best for me. It might not be the best for you, but I do recommend that method the most. And the third and final rule that I have for you guys is to figure out how you're going to do this. Are you going to go in and DIY manage all of your accounts? Or are you going to automate this so that way you have no say, it's just going to happen? I always recommend automating anything, whether that be saving or paying off debt. Whatever your payday may be, automate what is going to be saved, what you're paying yourself every single month, and what needs to be paid off. Whatever sort of loans or payments that you have for that month, schedule it to just be automated on the day that you're paid. So that way later in the week, if you go by the mall and you see that super cool Supreme hoodie, you know if you can afford it or not because you've already paid off what you need to pay off and you have the remainder of your money to spend on Supreme hoodies. If you automate these things, you don't even have to actively be thinking about it. It just happens. You've already got your money saved and invested for the month, and part of your loans are already paid off. However, this is not always the premium method for everybody. For example, maybe you don't make the same amount every single month, or roughly the same number every single month, so you might not be able to afford that much every single month. So it's good to figure out what you can afford and to figure out what method works best for you. Now, I'm not saying don't own any credit cards, because I actually enjoy owning credit cards and I own a fair amount of credit cards for specific reasons. For example, I have a Miles credit card, and I use this card to pay for my rent every single month because I know that I can afford my rent and that I can pay that off immediately, and for all the dollars that I spend on this credit card, I get money back in Miles points, so I can use this card for travel, which can save me money in the long run, and also I'm not having to pay the pesky interest because I'm paying only for what I can afford. If you're using a credit card the way that most Americans do, that means that you're using this card for things that you can't afford. Therefore, you're making the definition of interest paying in advance for something that you can't afford, so you pay more for it. Paying extra for something in advance because you can't afford it doesn't seem like a smart decision if you ask me. But hey, what do I know about Supreme hoodies? Credit card debt is something that you have to handle aggressively. You need to only use your credit card for things that you can afford. It becomes a problem whenever you have revolving debt on there that you're not paying off. For those of you that know me know that I'm currently trying to purchase a home within the next year or two. So something that I've really been working on is my credit score. Your credit score starts with your credit card. And if you'd like to learn more about how to increase your credit score, go to my video about the spoopy credit score. I have managed to pay off all of my pesky credit card debt that I've accumulated throughout the years with the lack of knowledge of how the credit card even works. And I realized that I'm not alone in this and that a lot of people don't know how the credit card works. But through my time of learning, I have learned that I need to aggressively attack my credit cards and to only use my credit cards for things that I can afford. Don't let credit cards get the best of you, get the best of credit cards. That sounds cliche, but it's true. The way that you can get the best out of credit cards is taking advantage of their promo deals. A lot of credit cards typically have the promo deal of 0 interest for an entire year. The problem with this is that people will see this and they'll sign up and they'll rack up their bill as high as they can. But after that year, you start to get interest, so now that $5,000 that you've accumulated throughout the entire year with 0 APR now has an APR of 21%. Whoa, magic, right? Don't fall for these tricks. This is a very common trick that so many people fall for. Do not fall into the consumerism of being in debt. Being in debt will only cause you to lose sleep and take some time off of your life because you're going to be stressed as hell. Not only will you be stressed as hell, but you don't get that freedom. You don't get to feel the feeling of financial freedom, and that is what we're all fighting for. If you notice, most Americans don't own anything of theirs. They have car payments because they don't own their car yet. They have house payments because they don't own their house yet. All of these things you don't own because you're making payments on it, and if you don't make those payments, guess what? You lose that item. Debt is such a binding thing. Debt is what keeps us in the financial place that we're at. We accumulate debt to purchase things that we don't need, to impress people that we don't really care about. And for what cost? Your freedom. With my credit cards, I do use my credit card very often. I have a credit card that I pay for my gas and anything I do with my car. Now my car is paid off, so I own my car. I have one that I pay for my rent. But all of these I pay off, so I don't have that revolving utilization, and also I'm not paying that interest, but I'm getting the best out of the promo deals that I'm finding. Some will offer cash back, some will offer dining points, some will offer mile points, and all of these, sometimes they have yearly promos where they will match the amount of promos that you get. And who knows, maybe you'll find a credit card that gives cash back for new Supreme hoodies. A good way to find these promo deals that I found is through Mint.com. Mint.com actually has a whole design section where you can go through credit card deals and see what you qualify for, and you can apply for these and take advantage of their deals that they have. Be smart with your credit cards. Do not max out your credit cards. Watch my spoopy credit score video and attack your debt aggressively. Know the difference between revolving debt and installment debt. These are going to be very important. And as the golden rule says, never do anything that you don't know stuff about. That goes with absolutely anything. But if you don't know what your credit card is actually doing and how it's making money off of you, don't use it. Learn before you use it. That's going to be with anything. Before you swipe your credit card, know the value of what you're purchasing so you're not paying more and having that lost opportunity cost. Don't have your money just sitting in there revolving and letting that credit card company take advantage of you and taking your money and getting rich off of you. I hope that you guys enjoyed this video and that you took something from it. I really appreciate each and every single one of you, and the most important way to get rid of that credit card debt is to hit the like button. Thank you guys for hanging around, and I'll catch you on the next one.
I feel like I'm drowning.